welcome back to Destination Playdate. I am your host, Attack Slug, and this is The King's Dungeon, out now on itch for a price of $4, a bite-sized metroidvania, or perhaps a microvania, if you will. Let's hop in here, but first, before I actually enter the game, I'm going to hit options, because options can turn on the timer, because there is a speed run part of this bit of business. So my current fastest time in map number 1 is 12 minutes and 34.99 seconds. That's after like 3 playthroughs, I got down to 12 minutes. And I could honestly even improve that further. Have not finished World 2 just yet, but I recommend playing World 1 first and then playing World 2. It is kind of a remixed bit of deal there. So we're going to just turn on the timer and go into a new game in World 1. But unlike a Castlevania or a Metroid, there is no combat in here, just platforming. Pure freaking platforming. What's going on, Mr. Meat Boy? Hey, what's going on? You're in a dungeon. Oh, cool. You insulted the king and now you're locked up. Looks like I can just walk out through the right. The dungeon is set up like a maze. Believe me, I've tried. Yeah. But can you press A to jump? Yes. Everyone can do that. Oh. And here we go. Pressing A to jump. Right now, your only real goal is just jumping through. Now, if I have to issue one complaint thus far in this, is that occasionally the ladders can be very finicky to get on when the platforming requires much higher levels of precision. So, you're just gonna let me walk out. I'd like to see you try. There are traps everywhere. I know a bit of parkour. No response. And you go over here to the left, and guess what? You can't make that jump. Now, when you do die, and you will die, the respawn, instantaneous. You don't have to walk back from the save room to where you're at. You're gonna die and be on the same screen. It is a microvania, if you will. So, that means back to the right. Now, unlike those games in those genres, there is no map here. So it's just learning the layout. It's not super huge. So I think on average your first playthrough should be about 20-ish or so minutes, depending on your skill level. Meanwhile, Mr. Among Us, what do you got here? Is that cheese? Oh yeah. The king ordered us to hide these around everywhere. Why? You know how he loves his cheese? Is it Steve Urkel? Isn't that why you're in here in the first place? Oh yeah, I ate the royal cheese. No regrets. I cut the royal cheese. So there are 11 pieces of cheese, and if you were, say, speed running, you'd have 2 different runs here. One for doing a 100% run, and one for the any percent and avoiding the cheese, because some of it is quite well hidden. So, hopping through here and avoiding these spiked balls, spiked traps, because, you know, video games are happening. And then over here, and guess what? Our first upgrade is right here in that chest. I love the water effect, but our first chest here gives us the wall climb ability. Now, if I were to pause it, you'll see there are 5 different abilities. Also, the option to save and then come back later, which is great. Even when games on Playdate are short, I like having be able to save and come back and not start all the way over. Now, I will tell you, hot tip, this wall here is a false wall. And guess what? There's some cheese. So I have not found all 11 yet. I've found 9 of the 11 pieces of cheese. So there are still some I haven't found yet because they're in here somewhere. I don't know where. But there we go, I died again. And back onto it, so a nice, easy, instant deal. And yeah, you could definitely do this in under 10 minutes if you're good, but I haven't got that good yet because certainly some of this platforming does get precarious. So I appreciate that from a gameplay perspective. Like, I do enjoy a good platforming challenge, Meat Boy, Celeste, etc., etc. But look at this, I can't open this door just yet. So we keep on climbing and then we head over in this direction and we try to avoid getting hit by the deal there because it just didn't work out for us. And yes, it does get a little bit little bit finicky, but generally, it is quite playable, and it works pretty well most of the time. Occasionally, you kind of glitch through a little bit of stuff, but look, man, that's indie games are not going to be perfect by any means. Now, here we are, heading to a much more tricky part of this map here, which is, indeed, right here, where they're real fast. Now, this has been patched now twice since it launched, and originally there was a ladder in this room, and that was kind of visually confusing on how they had it presented, and now it's not a ladder, it is the chains to climb, and you kind of latch on, and then get yourself right in the middle, and then you die. And then, my friend, you die, because it does get difficult, and I like that, but if you're trying to, like, legitimately speedrun things, it can be a bit like, alright, well, start over because this run is shot because of reasons. And this room in particular, getting all the way to, like, here, and then screwing up, guess what? You're back to here. So it's just wait, and then take that window you need to get through, and get our next ability, which does, for the Playdate, use the crank. So the crank key now, we're going to crank open these gates, and then we go through. And the maze continues. But I want to get to one of the harder rooms in this game. So we're going to crank up here, just head under, and then get some more cheese, and then head up. And this is not that difficult. Well, so again, the stuff with the ladders and the chains, like, it's very easy to lose your grip, and very easy to kind of, like, I guess, misclick and hit the wrong button, or hit the button twice, and then things just go sideways, but you kind of get used to it. So right there, that's near the end once you get the final ability. But we aren't there yet. Now we get a very important video game ability, which is the double jump. So we can jump and then jump. Now, after that, there is the dash, and after that, I believe, is the final ability. We're not getting that far in this video, but I will get some more cheese here as we head down. Avoid the ground spikes. Avoid the ground spikes. And I failed to do that. These things happen. Can I just do this? Yes. Okay. So, back down, and now that we have the double jump and the chain climbing ability, we head over here to a very large gap, and we clear that gap. No big deal. So here, as we can see, it starts getting a little bit tricky in the platforming and what needs to be done and how you can approach that and do that. And also right here, you see the cheese? A false wall. I'm not going to do this, but it's there if you'd like to get all of those pieces of cheese. Got any cheese? And now we get to the dash. So not only is there a jump, but a dash. And so we're almost where I want to be here for this video, which is, I think, the next room is jump, dash, climb. It is the room after this, or I guess the room above this is one of my banes of my existence. This room right here is the perfect highlight of why the ladder climbing, why the ladder climbing is one of the parts that I think could use a little bit of work in this game, because generally you would hold up to climb a ladder, right? That's common sense in video games. And of course, on video, I do it the right time the first time. Let me tell you, I've failed that jump so many times in this game. Anyhow, this is, let's save and exit here. This is The King's Dungeon, out now on itch. It has 2 different maps. It has a speedrunning mode and high scores associated with that. It is $4 on itch. Link in the description. I'm Attack Slug. Thanks for watching. More videos right here. Keep on cranking. I'll see you next time, and I'm out.